Shocking transformation. Black girl's old dress becomes a billionaire's dance invitation at 3 a.m. It was just past midnight when the air turned electric, crackling like a thunderstorm about to break. In a small, dimly lit attic, a worn-out old dress hung quietly on a ragged mannequin. This wasn't just any dress. It was a relic of forgotten dreams. Only last week, it belonged to a 10-year-old girl named Mia. She had twirled and danced around her bedroom, the shimmering fabric catching the light, leaving behind echoes of laughter and joy. But tonight, something strange was happening. The moonlight poured through a dusty window, casting a pale glow. Suddenly, the old dress began to shimmer. It sparkled and shifted, morphing under the watchful gaze of the silent attic. Colors swirled like oils in a puddle, blurring the line between dream and reality. A whispery breeze swept through, almost as if the dress was alive, longing for its time to shine. Mia's heart raced as her fingers brushed the delicate fabric. She felt a tingling surge run up her spine. What had been a simple piece of fabric suddenly pulsed with a rhythm too powerful to ignore. Mia blinked, and before her eyes, the dress transformed into an elegant, high-end gown one might see on movie stars, opulent and shimmering like a diamond under the spotlight. It was an invitation, twisting and turning under her captivated gaze. Questions spiraled in her mind. Was this magic? She turned to check the time. It was 3 a.m. The witching hour. Her pulse quickened, a hard lump forming in her throat. What if this dress held secrets? What if it had a story? Just then, the old grandfather clock in the corner struck 3 with a loud echo that shattered the enchantment in the air. Mia gasped, disbelief wrapping around her chest like a vice. Somewhere deep inside her, a voice whispered urgently, "You're meant to go." But go where? She felt torn between fear and curiosity, her mind racing. The thrill of adventure called to her like a siren. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Mia took a deep breath, her trembling hands reaching for the gown once more. A rush of anticipation flooded her veins. She knew this moment could change everything. A twinge of doubt flickered, but the promise of something extraordinary pushed her forward. What awaited her on the other side of this fabric? Was it bliss or madness? With one last glance at her cozy childhood room, she stepped closer, her heart thundering like a drum. Suddenly, the fabric shivered again, a distant melody wrapping around her like a tender embrace. It was a call, a sweet promise of power, fame, and allure. But was it a trap? She could almost hear the dance floor whisper her name. Slowly, the air thickened, and a familiar voice echoed in her mind. "You've got to let go, Mia, it's time to rise." Mia's heart raced as the dress embraced her, pulling her into a world unknown. With the haunting melody in her ears, she felt the ground beneath her feet begin to sway. Darkness swirled around her like a shadow, enveloping her completely. What would she discover after the dawn broke? The night was just beginning, and with it, a whirlwind of secrets ready to unfold. Mia felt herself being lifted, weightless in the fabric's embrace. The attic around her faded, its familiar shadows dissolving into swirling colors that filled her vision. A sudden chill swept through her, and she gasped, caught in a maelstrom of emotions. The once familiar attic had vanished, replaced by an opulent ballroom illuminated by hundreds of shimmering crystal chandeliers. She blinked, awestruck by the grandeur. Gold and silver accents glittered everywhere. Elegant couples twirled across a polished floor, their laughter echoing like sweet music. They wore sophisticated outfits, shimmering like the stars. But as she looked closer, a sense of unease crept in. These faces were vaguely familiar but contorted, twisting between genuine joy and something darker, an underlying tension that clawed at her heart. The gown hugged her body perfectly, its luxurious fabric flowing around her with every step. But beneath the beauty, she felt cold metal hidden in the seams. A shiver shot through her spine. What was this dress truly made for? Was it a symbol of wealth and prosperity, or of something sinister? As she stepped into the room, the music changed. It grew louder, pulsing with an energy that felt alive. The dancers froze, their eyes locking onto her. The room felt like a movie set, everyone's gaze scrutinizing her, measuring her worth. Could they see her fear? Mia's pulse quickened. She had to break free from their stares. She turned abruptly, searching for an exit, but the gilded walls seemed to close in on her. A distant figure caught her attention, a tall man in a sharp black suit, his expression stoic yet drawn to her like a magnet. His deep-set eyes held secrets, and for a moment, she felt a connection stronger than any she had known before. As he approached, the crowd parted like water, eyes still plotting and suspicious. "You must be the one," he said, his voice a silky whisper. "You've come to claim your destiny." "Claim my destiny?" Mia echoed, confusion swirling within her. "What do you mean? Everything you ever wanted is waiting for you here." He gestured gracefully, his hand sweeping across the ballroom where filled glasses and laughter mingled like a heady perfume. "But it's a price you must pay. What are you willing to sacrifice?" The words hung heavy in the air, sinking into Mia's gut. Her heart pounded. What would she lose? Her childhood? Her innocence? Was this invitation truly a chance for greatness, or was it a trap set by forces she couldn't understand? Panic bubbled as whispers filled the room. Shadows danced in the corners, flickering like candles in a windstorm. She felt pulled back to reality, her heart screaming for escape, but something compelled her to stay. With a determined breath, she faced the man again. "I want to know the truth. What is this place?" He smiled, a glimmer of something dark flickering across his face. "Step into the light, and you'll find out, but be warned, Mia. Once you see the truth, there's no turning back." Just as those ominous words settled in her mind, the lights dimmed, casting a veil of darkness over the ballroom. The laughter morphed into haunting echoes. Mia's heart raced. She stood at a crossroads of magic and reality, a dance of light pulling her forward and shadows threatening to engulf her. Could she trust this man, this world? Did she even have a choice? As the darkness wove tight around her, she felt another wave of that strange energy flowing through her. Then, a parting whisper carried through the fading noise. "Choose wisely, Mia, or the next dance could be your last." What would she find if she embraced the shadows? What if the truth was more frightening than she had ever imagined? With her heart pounding like a drum, all she could do was hope. She was too late to decide. The darkness thickened, wrapping itself around Mia as the air crackled with an intensity that made her skin tingle. Panic surged within her, clawing at her senses. It felt as though the very fabric of the ballroom was alive, pulsating with an energy that both terrified and fascinated her. The whispers grew louder, echoing her deepest fears and desires. "Step into the light." The man's voice echoed again in her mind, dripping with allure. Mia's gaze darted to the far side of the ballroom, where a beam of golden light streamed down, illuminating the center of the dance floor like a spotlight on a stage. Her instincts screamed to flee, yet an unexplainable urge tugged at her to move closer. "Go on," called a voice from the shadows. Mia flinched, recognizing it as belonging to one of the elegantly dressed couples who had just been watching her. Their laughter rang again, hollow and chilling. "Don't just stand there. Claim what is yours." They seemed to feed off her uncertainty, their expressions twisting into eager grins. Holding her breath, she took a hesitant step. The music warped, a sinister twist fleeting through the notes that echoed off the gilded walls. As she walked, the sensations in her gown intensified. Its fabric hugged her like a lover, but the cold metal buried deep within felt like a weight pressing against her chest. With every step, her surroundings transformed. The light shimmered more brightly, and with it, figures danced in the glow, drawing Mia into their enchanting whirl. She could feel their heat, their energy surging through her veins, fueling an unfamiliar fire. She fought against them spasmodically, aware that they were inching closer, whispering secrets that skirted the edges of her mind. Mia, join us, don't resist. The invitation stung. Old memories flashed through her, memories of simpler days, laughter in the sun, the warmth of home. But the shadows of the ballroom began to blur those memories. They floated away like wisps of smoke, until all she could recall was the tightening grip of dread settling deep in her soul. Her heart raced painfully in her chest. "What do you want from me?" she shouted, all of a sudden, surprising even herself. The music faltered for a moment. Silence hung thick as ice before her question sliced through the air. The dancers froze, their faces morphing from eerie fascination to weary pity. The man in the black suit reappeared, his eyes boring into hers, piercing through the haze of the fantastical. "It is not what we want, love," he said, slowly walking toward her. "It's about what you fear to lose." Her pulse thundered in her ears as he continued. "Your heart, your dreams, even your very essence. All of it is at stake. And here, in this realm, only you can choose what to hold on to." His words hung like silver spider webs, twisted yet enticing. Mia stepped back, feeling reality fracture beneath her. The black suit man extended his hand, glimmering with unspoken promises. She sensed the shifting tide of power within the ballroom. It felt like a current, begging for her to surrender. "What if I refuse?" she asked, voice trembling. His smile deepened, twisting her gut into knots. "Then you take nothing with you. You remain a mere shadow, a fleeting dream amidst the darkness." As the pain of his words sank into her, she teetered between defiance and the seductive promise of destiny. Could she accept this darkly woven path? Could she truly understand what sacrifices awaited her? The ground tilted dangerously, leaving her gasping as shadows lunged toward her, a suffocating trap closing in. Would the truth be worth the price? Could she possibly balance all that she longed for with the haunting doubts gnawing at her soul? Mia felt time slip away. She was on the edge, teetering toward an abyss. And as the swirling mystery swamped her, she knew a choice was imminent, one that would send ripples through her very existence. What would she hold on to, and what would she let slip away? The shadows beckoned, their whispers promising power, while her heart cried for safety. Would she find the strength to embrace her true self or fall victim to the darkness? Mia's breath hitched as she felt the pull of the crowd, an unseen force drawing her towards the unforgiving light. She looked back, desperate for a sign of support, but her friends stood muted, their faces pale and wide-eyed with fear. The laughter of the elegantly dressed, shadowy figures echoed loudly, drowning any protest she might want to voice. "Don't resist, Mia," the man in black encouraged, his voice smooth yet foreboding. "You're at a crossroads. Choose wisely." Her heart dropped as the shadows shifted. The air around her thickened like molasses, heavy with the weight of unfulfilled dreams and hidden fears. Thoughts flashed through her mind, her ambitions to break free from her small-town life, her yearning for a place where she truly belonged. But was it worth the price she could pay here? In a flare of resolve, Mia took a shaky breath. "I want to become just another shadow," she declared, the words echoing through the ballroom. The figures recoiled slightly, their smiles faltering. "Is that so? You think you have a choice?" The man's eyes narrowed, and the atmosphere shifted slickly. Suddenly, The music swelled back into a discordant frenzy, filling her ears with a cacophony of sounds that thrummed against her very bones. The figures lunged forward, arms outstretched, their shadows twisting grotesquely around her like vines seeking to ensnare her. Mia fought, heart racing, feeling every sensation ignite like fire on her skin. "Me? Fight!" a distant voice called. It sounded like one of her friends, but whether it was real or another trick of the darkness, she couldn't tell. "What if resisting is what will truly destroy you?" The man in black purred ominously. "What you call freedom could lead you directly into chains far worse than any you can imagine." His words wound around her like a serpent, squeezing breath from her lungs. Was he right? Was it better to flow with the currents of this darkness rather than be swept away? Her chest tightened, a lump forming in her throat as doubt crept closer. The figures danced, suggestions rolling off them like smoke, enticing her with visions of grandeur and wealth. Mia's hands trembled, real with the weight of the cold metal hidden in her dress, the talisman that had once offered her comfort. It felt wrong now. Maybe it was a key, a final doorway to the truth, or perhaps to her demise. Something snapped within her. "I choose to break free," she shouted, channeling all her will. The shadows froze, the music halted, and silence fell like a heavy curtain. Mia dug deep and felt an unexpected light flicker within her. A surge of courage blazed, and she grasped the talisman, willing the dark energy back toward the figures engulfing her. The metal burned against her palm, illuminating her resolve. As it pulsed, the shadows dissipated, screeches echoed through the ballroom, mingled with pleas that clawed at her consciousness. The man in black's expression twisted into rage as the figures writhed and imploded into darkness, unraveling like tendrils of smoke. But just as she started to believe she'd broken free, a deafening roar enveloped her, and the ballroom shifted violently. Walls warped as color bled from the room, leaving only a stark abyss around her. "Me?" A familiar voice pierced the chaos, yet it was drowned out by the tumult. "Mia, don't let go." The ground quaked beneath her as the darkness reformed, this time more menacing, molding into figures she recognized from her past. They reached towards her, faces etched with longing and regret, faces of people she loved but had lost. In that moment, she realized the choice wasn't just about herself. It was about every fractured relationship, every unfulfilled desire. Each specter stretched toward her, pleading. Could she reconcile the love she had once felt with the sacrifice required to escape? The abyss yawned open, promising clarity, yet the shadows clung tightly. Could she endure the pain of letting go, or would she risk everything for a chance to save them? The breath in her lungs faltered as Mia teetered once more on the brink of a life-altering decision, one that could shatter or mend her very soul. What awaited her on the other side of the darkness? Would she have the strength to find her way back to herself, or would she drown in the memories? The void around Mia pulsated, a sea of shadows reaching out with ghostly fingers. Each face was a whisper from her past, memories swirling like ash in the wind. She clung tightly to the talisman, a beacon of light amidst the relentless tide of darkness. "Mia, please!" one figure cried, the voice choked with sorrow. It was her grandmother gone too early, wrapped in warmth and stories. "Don't forget us. Come back." With each plaintive voice, the shadows twisted and shifted around her, creating chaotic shapes that pulled at her heart. They were echoes of happiness, moments she had once cherished. But behind the warmth, a chilling truth waited in the depths. Each memory was also a chain binding her to anguish. "Don't listen to them," the man in black sneered, his presence hovering like a dark cloud. "They are your prison. You think they love you, but they're the reason for your pain." His voice dripped with malice, coiling around her like smoke. She wanted to believe that the figures begging her to remember were sincere, but doubt nagged at her heart, each plea a thorn digging deeper into her resolve. "Let go, Mia." A voice broke through, clear and assertive. It was James, her best friend, standing defiantly against the growing storm of shadows. "You're stronger than this. Dealing with the past doesn't mean you give in. You can honor them without being trapped." His words sliced through the chaos, and for a moment, she could see it the path of light. It was illuminated by courage, braided with pain, and forged through acceptance. The shadows hesitated, softening their grip as if her awakening had disrupted their hold on her mind. "No!" snapped the man in black, his face a mask of fury. She has meant to kneel before her fears, not confront them. "Cower in the dark, Mia. That's where you belong." But the energy within Mia surged anew, a roaring flame that began to engulf her doubts. Each heartbeat resonated with truth, and she heard her grandmother's laughter echoing in her ear. "Fight for your truth, my love. Keep the light alive." With a fierce cry, she drew upon that light. "I won't bow to this darkness. I am not defined by my past." Her voice rang clear, reverberating against the walls of the abyss, challenging the shadows. Suddenly, colors exploded in the void. Shattering the darkness, vibrant hues spread like wildfire, reds, blues, and golds, each representing a memory, a moment of joy, a fragment of love. The figures surrounding her began to dissolve, replaced by sparkling orbs of light. "You have the power to reshape this," they whispered, becoming luminous memories transformed by her courage. But as the shadows faded, a jagged crack tore through the swirling colors, the ground split apart under her feet, creating a chasm that yawned wider, threatening to swallow everything. "Me?" James cried out, panic seeping into his voice. "Hold on." Fear clawed at Mia's chest, threatening to squeeze the breath from her lungs. The light flickered dangerously. Would it be enough? Could she stabilize the fractured memory chain while letting go of the weight that held her back? Mia took a step back from the ledge, heart pounding as she realized the gravity of her choice. The talisman pulsed, urging her to take one final leap of faith, but would it lead her towards salvation or destruction? She stood there, teetering at the precipice, the memories swirling around her, waiting for her to decide. What would she choose to embrace, and what would she let go of forever? With the ground trembling beneath her and everything on the line, Mia's mind raced as she braced herself for what was to come. Would she escape this nightmare, or would she become a shadow herself? Just as the chasm widened, swallowing the vibrant colors one by one, Mia felt a surge of defiance ripple through her. The talisman pulsed against her palm, each thrum a heartbeat, urging her to take a leap, to trust in the light she had ignited within her soul. "Me?" James's voice was just a whisper, nearly drowned out by the roaring void. His presence anchored her, pulling her back from the brink. She glanced over her shoulder, where he stood, eyes wide with concern, body rigid as if ready to honorably charge into battle. His unwavering belief in her gave her strength. "James," she called, voice shaking yet resolute. "I can't let go of them. They were a part of me. But holding on is tearing me apart." "Then hold on to what lifts you, not what weighs you down. They want you to thrive, not suffer." His words struck deep, igniting emotions she thought were dead. Memories of laughter with her grandmother, gentle hugs, warm kitchen air filled with the scent of cooking, these reminded her of love, not pain. The shadows flickered around her like dying embers, threatening to extinguish. Taking a breath, Mia closed her eyes. The vast void fell silent as she prepared to jump, an act of sheer willpower. "I remember. I revere," she shouted into the abyss, letting her voice crack against the coldness encasing her heart. "But I refuse to let these memories become my shackles." At that moment, she leapt. The impact shattered the darkness in a blinding flash. Waves of color washed over her, and the world spun like a kaleidoscope, wrapping her in warmth. The sensation was electric, sending tremors through her limbs as memories cascaded around her, floods of laughter, stolen glances, heartbreaks, and dreams combined into a brilliant aurora swirling in her wake. But alongside the light, she felt the man in black lurking, creeping back into the scene, the shadows converging, and fury etched into his features. "You think you won?" he spat, his voice a growl that rolled like thunder. "You're merely postponing your fate." In the chaos of the brilliant hues, Mia felt a shift. A darkness seeped back into the pockets of light, a clawing sensation around her ankles like the tendrils of a serpent. The vibrant memories began to dim, flickering as if they might vanish into the ether. "I won't let you haunt me," she shouted defiantly, the power surging within her unwavering. Gabby and James's faces danced in her mind, their proud smiles urging her forward. Suddenly, an explosion of light erupted, blinding Mia. She could feel herself soaring beyond the shadows, while her heart hammered uncontrollably. The talisman blazed in her hand, illuminating the pathway ahead, shining brighter than she had ever known. "Follow it, follow the light," came James's voice, stronger now. "You have the strength inside you. We'll face whatever is next together." With each beat of her heart, the shadows recoiled. Did they fear her? As realization settled over her, she surged forward, propelled by belief and the passion that had finally ignited within. But just as she felt the final barrier shatter, the man in black unleashed a scream of rage that reverberated against the walls of the swirling colors. The ground beneath her quaked violently, and just ahead, she spotted something dark looming, a sealed door of twisted iron, a portal that radiated malice and dread. "Whatever lies behind that door is a reflection of your deepest fears," the man in black bellowed, voice dripping with triumphant malice. "Will you dare to uncover it?" As Mia faced that ominous threshold, a chilling uncertainty gripped her heart. She had fought through shadows and memories to reach this moment. But the truth waited on the other side, shrouded in darkness and secrets. With a deep breath, she stepped closer, her hand trembling as it reached for the door's cold handle. Would she unlock her ultimate fear, or could she transform the darkness into light once and for all? As that door creaked open, a new chapter awaited, and the choice was hers to make. The door creaked wider, revealing a void darker than the night sky, a place where sounds faded to silence, and her thoughts felt heavy. Mia's heart raced as she stepped over the threshold. The air thickened, almost palpable, wrapping around her like a shroud. With each cautious movement, shadows twisted, reaching for her, whispering deep fears she'd buried long ago. Inside, the light from her talisman flickered, barely cutting through the suffocating darkness. Mia squeezed it tighter, its warmth grounding her. Suddenly, she was standing in an eerily familiar room, a place that felt like a half-forgotten dream. Her childhood bedroom. The walls were plastered with colorful posters, and the vibrant curtains she had chosen herself flooded sunlight during bright mornings. But now, they lay tattered and dusty. Mia's raspy voice echoed, and she blinked at the figure emerging from the shadows. It was her younger self, a scared girl clutching a well-worn teddy bear. The innocence in her eyes was overshadowed by a loneliness that made Mia's stomach churn. "Why did you leave me?" the girl whispered. "You told me everything would be all right." Mia's chest tightened. "I thought I had to grow up. I thought leaving you behind was part of being strong." But the girl shook her head, tears glistening like tiny pearls. "You never needed to. You can't just forget. I'm still here. Why can't you see that?" A horrifying realization washed over Mia. This wasn't just a memory. It was a reminder of all the parts of herself she had neglected in pursuit of external validation. The confidence, the joy, even the pain those moments had molded her into who she was meant to be. "Forgive me," Mia found herself pleading, her voice trembling. This was the heart of her dread, the fear that she had abandoned her true self. But just as she reached for her younger self, the shadows thrashed violently, sweeping toward them with a malignant intent. The man in black laughed, a cruel sound that pierced the air. You cannot save her, Mia. You're too late. Everything you thought was strength has turned to cowardice. No! She yelled, and with a sudden surge of fury, she raised the talisman high. Every moment, even the painful ones, shaped me. I will face you both. The talisman erupted in light, illuminating the darkness with a brilliant glow, forcing the shadows to retreat. Her younger self looked up, the initial fear replaced by hope. Mia, I can help, the girl said, stepping closer. Don't push me away. Mia nodded, swallowing hard. This was a fight they would take on together. The darkness roared as it coiled tightly around her. Foolish girl, the man in black sneered. Greater power lies in surrender, not defiance. You'll see, they're not worth the fight. With every ounce of courage she could muster, Mia clasped the child's hand. We are worth the fight. The two of them took a step forward toward the heart of the swirling shadow, but the man in black unleashed a shockwave, his wrath fueling the shadows. They latched onto Mia, clinging like tendrils of ice, dragging her back into the depths. The talisman flared one last time, but the brightness was fading. Me? Don't let go. James's voice echoed again, louder now. James! She cried out, her heart racing. She felt the fabric of her reality fragging, and she could sense it. They had to find a way through this nightmarish world together. With every fiber of her being together with her younger self, Mia mustered her strength. I believe in us, she declared, and with a fierce light, they charged into unknown depths, determined to confront the darkness together. But would they emerge brandishing the light, or would they become lost within the shadows forever? As they drew closer to the heart of the obscurity, a chilling whisper wrapped around them. The end is just the beginning. The moment they stepped deeper into the swirling darkness, the air crackled with tension. Shadows closed in like a tightening noose, and the frantic beating of Mia's heart echoed in her ears. Stay close, she shouted, gripping her younger self's hand tightly. The glow of the talisman flickered, casting ghostly shapes that danced against the walls, warping her childhood memories into something sinister. The laughter of the man in black dripped with malice, reverberating through the suffocating silence. Do you really think you can fight me? He taunted, his voice slithering through the air like smoke. You're nothing without your fear. Mia felt fear clawing at her insides, making her throat tighten. I am not alone anymore, she shouted back, forcing her voice to remain steady. The girl beside her looked small but fierce, her eyes glimmering with a shared determination that melted a part of Mia's dread. Together, the girl echoed, her innocence a stark contrast against the encroaching shadows. They pressed on, inching deeper into the heart of the storm. The walls pulsed with memories, vibrant moments of joy overshadowed by spectral figures, her teenage insecurities, moments of rejection. Each confrontation unlocked a fear Mia had avoided, memories that whispered accusations of her worthlessness. You can't outrun the truth. The man in black howled just as tendrils of darkness shot out, latching onto Mia's legs and dragging her back. Panic surged through her, raw and visceral. No! I won't let you take me, she screamed, summoning all her defiance. Help me, the girl cried, struggling against her own shadowy chains. Their connection ignited something deeper within Mia. I won't abandon you again, she yelled, channeling every ounce of determination into their clasped hands. As they fought against the malevolent grip, the talisman flared into brilliant light, illuminating their fears and reducing them to mere whispers. Face it, Mia. It's time to embrace every part of you. The darkness recoiled, shrieking in frustration. A wave of heat surged through Mia as she recalled how her younger self had inspired her to seek the joy she had forsaken. You're not my weakness, you're my strength, she cried, lifting the talisman higher. Together, They charged toward the core of the storm, a pulsating mass of darkness wrapped tightly around shreds of Mia's past. As they reached it, a blinding light erupted from the talisman, creating an explosion of vivid colors that shattered the night. "No! This can't be!" the man in black screeched, his form distorting under the radiant energy. "Let her go!" the girl shouted, and in that moment, their voices melded, harmonizing into an unstoppable surge of light. The shadowy figures shrieked as they disintegrated, scattering into nothingness. But just as Mia thought they had shattered the darkness once and for all, a crack in reality appeared. She felt an unsettling pull, a tugging at her essence. Panic gripped her heart. "What is happening?" she gasped, looking to her younger self, who was wide-eyed and trembling. "I don't know." But even as they clung to each other, the void around them began to distort again. Before they could react, the world shattered like glass, and in an instant, they were thrust into a new realm marked by bright colors and a silhouette looming large in the distance. "Welcome to your new beginning," a voice echoed, deep and resonant. Mia's heart raced as her instincts screamed for her to flee, yet part of her yearned to dive deeper. "What now?" she whispered, fear mingling with a strange thrill. Would this be the rebirth they needed, or another trap to ensnare them? As the looming shadows started to approach, that question hung heavy in the air, leaving Mia shivering on the edge of uncertainty. The silhouette drew closer, morphing into a shape that sent jolts of fear through Mia's core. It was a figure, draped in flowing attire that seemed to shift with colors of the sunset. The air around them shimmered, creating a surreal haze, as the being's face came into focus, sharp features framed by a cascade of dark curls that glimmered like onyx in the strange light. "Who are you?" Mia shouted, clutching her younger self's hand tighter. The girl looked up, eyes wide, as if every bit of naivety had been washed away. The figure smiled, lips curling into a wicked grin. "I am the keeper of transitions, the gatekeeper between your past and what you wish to become." The voice was soft, but the undercurrent buzzed with authority. "You've come far, but the real test lies ahead." "What test?" Mia's pulse raced. The bright colors swirled around her, leaving no path in sight. "What do you want from us?" Fear often masquerades as power, but true strength emerges in the acceptance of oneself. The words curled around Mia, stirring loose fragments of doubt and pride. "To redefine your destiny, you must confront the fears that cling to you, and that includes the shadow of your past." With a flick of the figure's wrist, the vibrant colors morphed into a chaotic collage. Pictures splintered and flashed, revealing moments from Mia's life. Each one pulsed like a heartbeat, heartbreak, disappointment, and moments of sheer joy. But they swirled together, forming a whirlwind that buzzed ominously in the center of the realm. "No! Stop!" Mia yelled, terror twisting her insides as the shadows merged back into the figure. "I want to let you take me back. Then fight it." The keeper brushed aside a curtain of shimmering light. "You control what happens next, but first, you must show me your true power and your greatest fear." Time stretched thin as Mia glanced down at her younger self, whose fragile bravery lit a stubborn fire within. "We can do this. I want to let my past destroy our future." "Do you think you're so brave?" the keeper hissed, voice layered with doubt, sending shivers coursing through Mia. "Remember, even the strongest heroes have their moments of weakness." Suddenly, shadows surged forward like a ravenous tide, twisting and gnashing around them. They were no longer just memories. They morphed into monstrous versions of Mia's own insecurities, each speaking out in anguished tones. "You're unworthy," they shrieked. "You'll never be enough." "No! I refuse to listen," Mia roared, stepping forward with fierce resolve as she willed the talisman to strengthen her. The colors around her exploded in response, breaking through despair as she shouted, "You don't get to define me anymore." Just then, The talisman illuminated, revealing a new path unraveling itself through the chaos. It pulsed, each flash of light a reminder of all the battles she'd fought. She looked back at her younger self, their gazes locking with fierce determination. Together, they shouted, and the words echoed, harmonizing in a powerful wave against the tumult. The shadows hesitated, then shrieked, "This isn't over." As Mia and her younger self pushed forward, igniting everything in a blinding light. But as they crossed the threshold and stepped onto the new path, Mia felt an abrupt chill cut through the warmth of triumph. The world around them shifted once more, spinning in a whirl of colors before darkening into a shriek of silence, leaving haunting shadows behind. A voice flickered back into the stillness, lingering like smoke. "Welcome to the next trial." Mia's breath hitched as dread uncoiled in her stomach. The dance had only just begun, and she understood this battle was far from over. What awaited them in this new domain, and what unearthly forces now lingered in the darkness? Mia gasped as the new realm enveloped her like a thick fog. She could barely see as memories twisted around her feet, shadows grasping for her, whispering fears like a dark lullaby. Yet she felt the heat of the talisman in her hand, grounding her. The Keeper's voice echoed through the shroud. "You must confront what you have avoided, Mia, to truly emerge." Mia's spirit flickered with uncertainty, but alongside her younger self, they stood defiantly against the darkness. "We refuse to hide," Mia shouted, her voice ringing out with newfound strength, shaking off the weight of doubt in the air. "Will you truly defy what seeks to own you?" The Keeper's tone was a mix of challenge and intrigue. Suddenly, the fog lifted slightly, revealing twisted paths branching out, each leading to a different moment from Mia's past. An icy grip clenched at her heart. Each path shimmered ominously, pulsing with regrets and memories, assuring her that each choice she avoided would rise to meet her again. She stepped forward, heart racing as she approached one path, its familiar shape a crystalline representation of a long-abandoned ambition. It shimmered with the laughter of friends, the passion she had buried under layers of fear. The shadows began their advance again. "You think you can claim back what you let go?" they hissed, morphing into faces she recognized, jeers from classmates, the disappointed stare of an old mentor. "You'll face the same pain." "No!" Mia cried, clenching her fingers around the talisman tightly, feeling its energy flow through her. "That pain does not control me. It's a part of my story. I accept it." The light flared as she surged forward, dragging her younger self with her. Together, they stepped onto the shimmering path that illuminated before them. As they walked, images flashed by joyful celebrations, moments of hard work, laughter shared with friends. Mia felt herself softening, every step filling her with clarity. "See? These moments are my strength," she shouted, the shadows recoiling with each affirmation. "Just because you embrace them doesn't mean you can escape." The Keeper's voice interrupted, laden with urgency. With every emotion flooding back, the images grew darker. "You need to confront the pain." The unresolved suddenly, an image crystallized before her. Her father's face twisted in disappointment. The sting of unfulfilled expectations hung heavy in the air. "You're wasting your potential." Mia stumbled, the shadows snaking closer with ghoulish glee. "See? You can never truly escape it. You'll always let them down. The past does not define my worth." She yelled back, heart pounding, battling the layers of pain tight around her chest. "But it shaped me, and I deserve to rise." With a fierce light surrounding them, she squeezed her younger self's hand tighter. "Let us show them our truth." Together, they propelled forward, the memories blazing in vibrant colors that washed away the dark murmurings, illuminating the dim corners of doubt. "We are here. We claim you, not the other way around," she declared, drawing strength from the shadows that flanked her. The Keeper faltered, and for a moment, the shadows dispersed, Retreating from confrontations they became far too weak to withstand. "What is this power you wield?" the figure exclaimed, voice laced with disbelief. "The power of acceptance," Mia shouted fiercely. "This isn't just about fighting fears. It's about owning our truth with compassion." The tendrils of darkness shrieked as they twisted violently, lashing out in chaos. "You are foolish. You cannot control this." Mia steadied her breathing, focusing her will. "I don't need to control it, I need to understand it." She extended her free hand outward. "Every part of me matters, even the hurt. It fuels my strength." In that moment, surrounded by swirling colors, and like a dam breaking free, Mia's heart surged with illumination. The darkness crumbled under its weight, shadowy figures dissipating with cries of defeat, fading back into the abyss from which they came. But just as the light felt victorious, a crack of darkness resounded. Worsening. "She is not free yet," the keeper roared, summoning shadows anew that wrapped tightly around Mia. "You'll never claim this power." "No!" Jane's voice echoed through the chaos, unwavering and clear. "Mia, believe in yourself. You've come this far." With a deep inhale, she centered her energy. "I am reclaiming my narrative. I embrace my power." She raised the talisman as bright as the sun, its light bursting forth, cascading colors that enveloped her. In a swirl of brilliance, the shadows fell once more, crumbling into glittering sparks until the dark room was filled with a radiant warmth. She stood at the center, heart racing with life. "I will not hide. I am determining my own destiny." A silence washed over the chaos, and Mia opened her eyes to find herself on the edge of a new dawn. The light was warm and inviting, blooming with promise. Jane stood beside her, eyes gleaming with pride. "You did it. We believed in you." "I couldn't have done it without her." Mia smiled at her younger self, who stood resolutely by her side, now gleaming with confidence. "You are me, and I am you," the girl said simply, and the truth resonated in the air, laced with laughter and love. As dawn broke over the horizon, Mia stepped forward, embracing the light awaiting her. The keeper's distant voice faded into the ether. This is only the beginning. With a deep breath, Mia stepped confidently into her future, a tapestry of memories woven with brightness. And as she did, the whispers of the shadows faded, leaving behind a promise of every moment yet to come. The journey was truly hers now, one filled with hope, healing, and endless possibilities. Now that you've reached the thrilling conclusion of Mia's extraordinary journey, you need to subscribe immediately so you don't miss the next exclusive stories coming your way. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and keep this community thriving. Flood the comments section below with your reactions and theories about this ending. We want to hear what you think. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Let us keep this adventure going together,